Are you looking for a faster video? Well, today it's a live stream and I know you're probably looking for a really nice and tidy edited down video, but I have ways for you to make it faster. You can click that little gear on the YouTube settings right there on the video and adjust the playback speed, make me sound like a chipmunk, and it'll go a lot faster. You can also look and see if there's timestamps for this project in the description, and if you're on a desktop, you can hover over the time bar at the bottom of the screen and see if it's chunked up into chapters, and then that way you can go directly to the step you're looking for. And lastly, you can also tap on the screen on the right hand side of the video picture or on the left hand side to make the video jump ahead, forward or backward if you're on a mobile device. And you can adjust that amount in your settings so you can have complete control over how much it jumps. So if you are on a desktop, you can use the fast forward or the rewind, and that will make it go faster as well. You can also enable subtitles, and the little CC on the screen will enable closed captioning. That way, if I am a little bit harder to understand with that double playback speed, the subtitles might help you out. All right, well, I know that it's not a nice little edited video, but if you sew with me, we'll get there together and it'll be lots of fun. And now for the live stream. Happy sewing! Hello! I almost clicked end stream instead of putting on this camera. I've almost done that 3 times in a row. I don't know what's wrong with me. Hello, welcome, welcome. I'm a button pusher, you know? Like, I don't like to push people's buttons. Well, maybe sometimes. But if you say, don't push this button, I'm like, really? I'm just such a weird, compelling thing to do. So anyway, enough about my weird things. Hey, Walter. Hey, Delwyn. Hey, Carrie. Lynn, Eliza, Ray. Nice to see you all. Happy Saturday or Soderday. Hey, Margaret. Everything look and sound okay? I didn't do a sound check again. I forgot. In fact, I'm going to move this out of the way. Nancy, Nello. We're putting a buttonhole in right off the bat, so that's why I have my home machine. I'm going to do it right out of the way. Right. Oh, I have the wrong thingy up. I forgot about that. This is what I want this. Yeah. If you want the pattern. Pushing buttons. I like to push buttons on people, not to make them mad, but to see, like, and I would tell them I was doing that. I like to, you know, engage in conversations, you know, so cool. All right, it's good. Thanks for telling me, you guys. So we have so many details left on this pants, but honestly, they're really close to being done. You wouldn't have to do a lot of these details, you know. In fact, I think that they're really nice touches on the other end. If you wanted, I feel like they're a lot for something you would do on knit, because knit's kind of fragile, you know, like adding rivets to knits. You know, it depends on what knit you're using. You like they suggest you'd want to use a heavy knit. And there's a snap on the pocket, the cargo pocket. Buttonholes are always make it a little more fragile, but I think draw cord on knit pants is totally awesome, right? So, oh, you did. That's awesome, Gary. I want to do your guys' idea of making a log and then slicing them off. I'm really hoping my daughter's coming tomorrow. It's the longest it's been since I've ever seen her. It's so weird. I'm kind of hoping she's like, let's make cookies, you know, but all in all honesty, she probably will go see a couple of friends. She doesn't have a ton of friends in this area, but because like she lives with one of her friends, so where she lives. So I think like, I'm kind of hoping she's like, let's do something spontaneous. So and then I'm going to do that log trick. Because that's always, like when I was a kid, I always wanted my mom to buy the cookie dough in the tube. So it's the same idea. Yeah, oh yeah, Liza. Okay, you're listening to us. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Terry. You do scoops. I do scoops too, but here's my problem with the scoops. And this is why I want to do the log idea, because then it's like a thin, it's like a even thickness disc of frozen cookie dough. Because when I do the scoop, it takes so long for the center to get cooked that the outside gets really toasty. I really like that toastiness, but some doughs get a little too toasty. My oatmeal dough is fine. It's hearty enough, but I'm going to do the roll it along and then slice it off. Do you guys like half freeze it, then slice it? Okay, so I was thinking I would freeze it most like halfway, like get it kind of firm, and then slice it. I think there's probably a trick you can use to slicing it too. I've done so many different baking things. Like it could be like a really hot knife, a really cold knife, a knife coated in something, a knife with parchment, you know what I mean? Hey, Robin, welcome. Yeah, I can't imagine slicing a frozen log of cookie dough. That does sound kind of too hard. So, all right, well, let's get sewing. Too sticky to try and roll into a log. Yeah, I get you there, but you could use parchment and then roll it with that. Fun fact, I've done a lot of baking. Like, I got really, really into it. And I feel like it was awesome. I learned a lot of really amazing skills. It was not great for my waistline at the time, but in that, it was like I could have been eating it a little bit healthier. So I think everyone around me was like, oh my gosh, this baking thing you're on, this is too much. But it was like my creative outlet when I became a mom and I couldn't sew or do anything. I didn't realize it till I looked back on it. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. And we all really did enjoy it. But I got into making anything. Ice cream, cakes, you name it. Like, I'd be like, oh, I want to know how to do that. And then I got the cake Bible. And everything in the cake Bible is 10 recipes to make one recipe. And it might take you a week, you know. Hey, Martina, how's it going? Yeah, or exactly. Yeah, you could just flatten the balls. Exactly, Carrie. Yeah, Terry has a good point. Just flatten them. I think that's probably what I would do. That sounds faster and easier and something I would actually do. You know? All right. So today's part 2 of the Zen pants by 5 out of 4 patterns. I'm going to kind of show you. I have my camera at such a weird angle, so I don't sew in a home sewing machine. It's really hard to get. I don't know how people do it. Do the camera angles. This is them. It's supposed to be in a 4-way stretch knit. I did a stretch woven, my own mistake. Hey, Mullen. But it'll work. I think it's going to be fine, but it's a good experiment too. It's not quite a 4-way stretch. So yeah, we'll see. These are going to be for my daughter. I kind of spontaneously decided to make these for her because I thought, you know what, this was exactly what she was talking about because she has to bend down and squat a lot at work. And she says she's started to rip all of her jeans in the knees. She's like, she goes, jeggings are now for the first time ever sounding like a good idea. And when I saw these, I was like, oh, what if they look like jeans, but they stretch? I'm really uncomfortable. Sorry. I made a blouse yesterday. Okay, I have to show you guys. I don't have the camera set up for it, but I'll show you best I can. So remember when I told you I took the Deer and Doe Blue A dress and I chopped it off and made a top? Well, I was going to do an ASMR video. I love this. There's a few things I would do differently. I would probably take a little bit of the flare out here. It's so funny because that dress does not flare, but maybe I added a little bit to give it more shape. I also added a set-in sleeve because, I'm just going to say it, the sleeve on that dress is silly. I'm starting to feel more and more honest. Let's see how that goes, right? Okay, and then I have a couple of things I want to tell you guys. All right, so I'm going to prepare you. I have been talking about this whole idea of doing pattern reviews and stuff, and once I got all the responses, I realized, okay, I need to at least say a few things about some why some responses aren't going to work for pattern reviews. They're totally legit responses, but I think our expectations of from a pattern need to be realistic, and we need to understand why. So I recorded a video, and it was 1 hour and 10 minutes long. So then I was like, wow, that felt so good. And then I saw how long it was, and I was like, okay, that's awful. So I spent, from when I got off work, and I left work at like 5:30, which is kind of early for me, I spent all that evening till 10:30 at night. Like we ate dinner pretty quick. I spent from like 6 to 10:30 writing a script. Solid. In fact, Loki, my dog, got kind of mad at me because I wasn't sitting in our usual comfy spot, and he just wanted to like sack out and be somewhere safe and cozy. And I was like, I'm sorry, dude. So I like propped him up on a little chair next to me, and then he kind of relaxed a little bit more. And then the next morning, and I couldn't fall asleep that night because I drank this dumb Starbucks coffee. I got one of these. My husband wanted to try their cold brew, and I'm like, I'm going to try one too. And I finally got around to drinking it, and it was the worst decision ever. It was very tasty, but I just drank it too late in the day, and I was a little bit like, so partly why I could stay up to 10:30 doing that. And I didn't want to stop, but my eyes were killing me. And so then I woke up in the morning very early, got right back to it, did that until about 10:30 in the morning. And so I spent it tells me I spent 9 hours writing it, because it tells me that. I used a teleprompter app to see, because I wanted to time it. I thought, oh, this is the best way to time it. And it said, when I was done, I got it down to 25 minutes, and I was like, yeah, that is acceptable for the amount of information. So then I recorded, I decided that watching me sit there and talk like you're doing now, which is probably really boring, was too boring. And so I decided I'm going to sew something while I say these things. And so I ended up deciding to do this. So it's kind of like ASMR, but me filling your head with some of the realities of why the sewing world is the way it is. And I think I'm going to tell you guys things that you've probably never thought of or considered, and it'll probably change things, and in a good way, but in also a very honest way. And so I got it done with that, and I did my whole teleprompter thing, and I had to pause it because it was going a little too fast a couple times. 50 minutes. Okay, I know I should be really happy that I shaved 20 minutes off, and I know that a good 10 minutes in there is going to be edited out at least, but still, I'm just going to warn you guys, I feel really good about what I wrote, and I think my biggest problem is that I tend to be a storyteller on top of what I'm trying to convey, and it's just not a good idea, but I can't help myself, because I think as a woman, you feel like you always have to validate why you're saying what you're saying, that no one's going to believe you, and you can't just say facts, right? So you have to validate it or give examples. And so then I go into details or stories, and they're interesting stories probably for someone. A lot of you probably heard some of them, but but seeing them in these contexts, and I actually realized a few things doing this whole exercise and spending all this time. So I've invested a lot of time in trying to make sure that what I'm saying is easy to listen to, easy to understand, and something you're not going to be like, gosh darn it, I don't want to hear that. I feel like it's good. So I'm just going to warn you that video is coming, but there's some sewing in it. I know you do, Nancy. You probably are the only one, I think, that has watched all the design and manufacturing videos. I think Adina might have too. So those could be, that series, I'm not even done with that series. That series could be edited into 100 videos, because it's like 5-hour-long videos. So anyway, I just want to warn you guys. All right, the other thing I want to show you, I have two things. I want to know what you think about something. I want to give your honest opinion about it. For those of you who are just here for the sewing, I'm really sorry. I'm not that sorry, but I'm a little sorry. I will get to it, and if you're here for a tutorial and you're in the future, just skip ahead. And the lovely Beverly did timestamps on part 1. So that was very nice of her. So, and I think she's going to do the timestamps for this one too. So, well, thanks, Sarah. I appreciate it. I think it comes out of a lot of different things. I don't have a whole lot of people to interact with. So unfortunately, it's like a dump on like a verbal dump, you know. But at the same time, I do edit it, I redo it, I re-record videos. Some videos that are like 10 or 20 minutes long, I probably spent 10 hours just getting that, you know. Hey Terry, how's it going? Oh, I'm glad, you guys. I'm glad. I think like a lot of you guys will appreciate it, and it's not like you have to, you know, watch it all in one sitting, but it's probably gonna be 45 minutes. All right, so here's my last thing I wanted to, not my last thing, I have a couple things, but, okay, remember when I did the 5 questions, 1 take? There was so many great comments on the whole, like me saying, you know, you're the boss of your project. If you want to get good at sewing, this is, you know, that was the moment I got better, was when I really, truly decided I'm not taking no for an answer. And I'm desperate for things to draw sometimes because I just can't come up with ideas. And so I started playing around with the Spoonflower tea towel. And so I made tea towels, and I have 2 versions. It says, I am the boss, and I don't take no for an answer. Wait, is it crooked? And then I have one that says, you are the boss. Because for me, I would want it to say, I am the boss. You know, and then I have one that says, you are the boss. Don't take no for an answer. And then I have 2 other colors. I'm curious, what do you guys think of these? I'm going to show you the 2 colors. I have this colorway. And then I have this colorway. And these are just something you can just get tea towel. I hang tea towels, you know. Aren't they fun? I had a lot of fun doing this. It really kept me entertained, you know. It was a nice little challenge. I think I would do more tea towels too, because having a constraint is it's really good for me. So I might make these for sale on there, and then you just order it through Spoonflower. I think I'm going to do it soon because they're going to have I think it's a 20% off sale soon. So I think it'd be a really good time to do that. Oh, cool, Nancy. I want to hear those thoughts. Right, Carrie? You like the pink and green? That was, yeah, I think like as a kid, those were like one of my favorite combos. Pink and gray and then pink and green. I love that. So I thought I'd share that with you. That was kind of fun. All right, and my last thing I'm going to show you is, and none of you probably care about this, but this was a huge, huge thing for me. So my knit print fabric, this fabric here, it's really popular. It's one of my only things I've done right. But it had a terrible repeat problem because it's a photo, and it just had this mirrored line. And so I spent time making it truly a repeat. You can kind of see the warm and cool shift, but if you look close, whoops, where's that camera? It's actually seamless for the first time ever, and I'm so happy. So I'm going to put that up too. I printed it on 3 different bases. The fleece is so nice. Okay, that's all I have to say, you guys. Well, it's not all. No. Yeah, no, I don't like t-shirts either. People are always wanting to make t-shirts, but I don't wear t-shirts. So, you know, Carrie, I have that same problem too, and I'm going to start doing more art challenges because I've so many artists say that's how I finally, you know, like I don't even know what my voice is, you know. So, all right, let's start sewing. That's what you're really here for. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is we have our fronts here, and we have added the pockets and the waistband, right? So we're going to put buttonholes right here for draw cord. And then the draw cord I'm using is this. So if you look back when I made the 5 out of 4 kids a hoodie, and what were they called? Oh, Hide hoodie, the Hide hoodie sweatshirt. There was a draw cord on it, and I learned that it was like, it had this sheath knitted tube on the draw cord, and since it was kids, I decided, oh, I didn't know I could take this off and make it smaller. But I saved this because it's still legit very strong. That's what I'm going to use as the draw cord. So we're going to go to the iron, and we're going to iron this little piece of interfacing. You can, Fiona, because they have a German-based spoon flower, Fiona. They're not on my thing quite yet, so just so you know. But I'll work on doing that. I just need to click a button. So, click the button. Something I like doing. All right, so let's turn this. I cannot see this. Here we go. Here we go. Iron cam. Yeah, I don't know much about the German-based spoon flower, except that it's been there for a while now. It's very well established. I would definitely check it out. My secret plan is that my husband will get a job there because he speaks German. And then I can get a job there and we're going to move to Europe. This is never going to happen, by the way. But he would be totally down for moving there. I'm not sure he'd be down for, you know, moving or working at Spoonflower. It's not really his thing, you know. So it says to do this 7/8 inch apart. But it doesn't really tell you where to put them, so I'm going to put them centered. Boy, that did nothing. I'm going to get a chalk. And I'm going to remove the seam allowance. So it's like 2 5/8. So what is that, 1 1/4 plus? So we're going to do this like right here. So the thing to think about is we have our seam allowance. We're going to be putting elastic right here and a stitch line. So if our elastic is like right here, from here to here, right? From here to here. Then we have a stitch line. We need room for our buttonhole on below those. So that's if you're going to do all of it. All right, so 7/8 inch apart, or from the center, sorry, which is 1 3/4. That's where it's going to go. And I just lopped this off, so maybe I'll clean it up a little bit. You know what I think I should do? I think I'm going to do that Angela Wolf trick where I use my pinking blade. Okay, because remember when we do the invisible zipper, she has that little tip. Hey, use a, interface it and then use a pinking shears to make it so that it doesn't show on the right side. I'm never usually having that issue when we're doing the invisible zipper, but this time I think that this is an excellent tip, and I get to use the pinking blade that I never use. Do you think this is like too big? I'm just going to do a big thing. It'll stabilize it all. Yeah, let me know, Fiona. I've never even thought about looking for my own shop on that website. Or I think it's maybe it's one website, but then it's the shipping is different. So I'll have to check it out. All right, well, I didn't do it before, but I can't see it. So that's good. All right, while we're here at a table, since I have no room on my sewing table. Let's mark our buttonholes. All right, so what did I say? 1 1/4 plus. Center 7/8. This is literally the kind of thing that would stop me in my tracks to do, and I wouldn't do it. As a sewist, I'd be like, I don't want to do that. So my advice is just get it over with. So let's see, my draw cord is, it's about 3/8 of an inch wide. I also want to make sure I can get a safety pin in there. So I'm gonna, and here's the good news with this. You don't have to worry about a button. So there's more incentive to do your buttonholes because you don't have to worry if it's going to fit your button. Right? All right. Okay, let's do our buttons. Oops, bonk. All right. Ooh, the machine is like a mile away from me right now. I just threaded it. I'm going to use my buttonhole foot. Oh, and Barbara, I'm pretty sure it's you that told me to do this. Like, I feel like it was you. I always want to give props to the person who reminded me that in the bobbin case right here, if you have a Bernina, why is this so hard? You want to thread this little arm and it makes the buttonhole like actually amazing. Well, or a lot better than it was without it. I don't really have to do this like I do on my industrial machine, but I'm going to. So, habit. All right. So I'm just going to put it, oh my God, it's so far away from me. Got to pull this all up. What is that right there? Oh, it's just a thread. Okay. I don't want it to drag, so. I didn't miss the chalk, right? Okay, there it is. Is it moving forward? It better be. I feel like it got stuck a little bit. Not very even. Yeah, it got stuck right there. My machine does that rarely, but it does it. I just have this pushed up so it doesn't pull on it at all. I don't want the seam, because it's so thick, to get caught on the edge of the machine. I'm looking for my chalk line. That was a weird noise. Okay. You want to see where that little hole is? Oh, yeah. Hey, Libby. See that? It's just built onto the Bernina bobbin. You don't have to do anything else. Wait, what? Can you talk about what you're threading the bobbin? Oh yeah, sorry Nancy, I didn't see your comment. All right. You did, Libby, right? It wasn't you, Barbara? Maybe it was Beverly. Remember when I used to get you guys confused all the time? So embarrassing. Oh, your Bernina has a different bobbin case? Wow. I tie my cords to that arm. Oops. I just need to move my machine. I leave the cords here, but I just move the machine back and forth. All right. It really helps. It helps a lot. I like this Bernina. It's meant for quilter, like it's geared towards quilters, but at least there still is a buttonhole function. And it does have, I think, some stretch stitches. I really overdid it on the interfacing, didn't I? But you know what? That's okay because maybe it'll blend in better, bigger the piece. I keep trying to get rid of this little piece. The reason I got that particular machine, to be really clear, like to be transparent, wasn't any kind of feature except the fact that it can have a knee lift. So it's the bottom, it was the bottom one of the range, you know, like they have all their Berninas, and then this range had them with a knee lift, so I can use my knee to lift up the presser foot. And that was my deciding factor. It was really stretching it financially for me at the time. I think it was a $1,500 machine. I don't honestly now feel like that machine was worth $1,500. Not when this is $1,800. So, but that's just me because I don't use a lot of those other stitches, and I have a serger, so I don't really need the stretch stitches. Really, that's a buttonhole maker for me. I only use it for that. I would love for there to be a home marketed machine just for buttonholes. I would buy that machine in a heartbeat. And then I'd probably give that one to my mom, even though she says she doesn't want a machine. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to put our side seam together. And then we're going to do our cargo pocket. I think I'm going to use the serger to put the seam together here. So now remember, this seam does not match. I'm still very curious about why it doesn't match. I feel like there's got to be a reason, but I'm not sure why it couldn't have, except for the thickness. But you could offset that. So I'm going to serge this, and we're going to do the left leg only because I'm going to put a cargo pocket on. But if you're not doing that, you could do both. Yeah, a buttonhole machine would be superb. Imagine a machine that only did buttonholes. It could cut it. They could really go to the nines on it if they wanted to. I'd pay $1,000 for a machine that only did buttonholes. I would buy it tomorrow. Isn't that funny? I think quilters have had their day, gosh darn it, and it's now time for garment sewists to have theirs. But quilters would say, yeah, but you guys get sergers. We get sergers and we get all these features we really just don't need. So, in my opinion. All right, so I'm doing this side seam. It says, you know, make sure you don't stretch these seams to match, and I'm just going to reiterate that because that would be bad. Okay. You need to move over here. You're in my way. I'm not sure I'm going to be using my cover stitch very much, so let's do this. Where's that? There's, okay. It's really important, especially, well, for any machine, that your work doesn't pull on the machine when you're sewing. Like this shouldn't be hanging off and pulling. Especially when you're using something like your serger. But any machine, it's really important. Yeah, right, Terry? Sign us up. Yeah, right, Malin? I'm telling you. You have a Baby Lock Soprano and the Accomplish. It was cheaper, but I use it way more than my Soprano. Yeah. Yeah, I actually don't know those. I had a Baby Lock Evolve before I had this serger and cover stitch, and it's a very good machine. There's something about the cover stitch when it leaves the threads at the end that it must do, I don't know what it is. I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like it does something to make the threads, they want to stand straight up. It's kind of hilarious. I don't know if it's something about how it's going through the machine and the tension discs, you know, and thread is, it's plied. So, you know, it has thread going like this. Sometimes it has a core. And so there could be something to the fact that it's going through the tension disc and maybe pulling it the opposite way of the plies. I don't really understand all that. It would be a fascinating topic to bring up with my knitting pals that know a lot about weaving and spinning. But I've definitely noticed it ever since I got this cover stitch machine that every time my threads, let me see if I can, oh, I don't have, oh yeah, here. Oh, no, I don't. Yeah. So right here, so my threads, I don't know, can you see it? It always sticks straight up. This one's too short, but they stick straight up. It's hilarious. And they're so hard to push. Like I push it and it goes boing. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe we should design a buttonhole machine. Yeah. Oh, you're interested in keyhole buttons. That machine does them, but I keep trying to make them work. It does not do very well. I don't like them. All right, I'm going to top stitch this seam. I didn't know, oh, I didn't finish threading this machine. I didn't know that cargo pockets, that's interesting. Cargo pockets are always on the left leg. I wonder what the thinking is behind that. I have to think about that. I wonder if, because in general, the world favors right-handed people, but your cargo pocket is on the left leg. I wonder if the original place where cargo pockets were used was something like a safari rig or something, you know, or, you know, like someone who, I don't know, I feel like cargo pockets were here before cars, but were they? I bet it's a military or a uniform thing. I'll bet that's what it is. Maybe they kneeled on their right leg and their left knee was up so they could reach in. It's interesting to think about. Makes it easier to see and clip. Kind of, Barbara, but I like them. I like that. I want that thread to be in the seam allowance. Yeah, Nancy. Everyone keeps trying to get me to do that method. I have to practice. It says Montgomery Ward, but it looks like Singer manufactured it. Oh. Yeah, exactly, Nancy. They use a little crochet hook. It's awesome. It's a great method because it locks your stitches. So I'm just top stitching this side seam. Pressing it towards the back. Why does this thread look like it's a different color? Oh, is the thread on my cover stitch a different color? It shouldn't be. I have 4 spools and I only have 1 on this one. right, so let's... Oh, that is the same. Oh, that's interesting. Maybe it's just the shadow. Okay. They were for paratroopers, so they get their ammunition. Is that true? I was actually thinking that it had to be for ammunition. Why on the left leg, though? I always wear my bag on my left side, too. But that's so that your right arm is free. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to prep the pocket. I'm going to do the whole thing like the instructions have you do with the ribbon and everything. I kind of don't really want to do the ribbon, only because I don't want to change thread color. Because I'm lazy. Let's see. Because it takes like 10 seconds. Yeah, I know. I imagine that, but why the left leg? You're not answering that part, Mr. Terry Edens. So you know what I mean? Like, so there must have been something about how they had to, maybe they were holding their weapon with their right arm and the left hand was free. That's what it is, right? Google's great. I thought you just knew that. Dang. You should have pretended like, we could have pretended like, you knew that. Am I ready to change my thread color? I think I am. Okay. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to, this is navy blue. But I like the width of this. So I think I'm going to use this. I have this twill tape, but it's really wide, so I would have to fold it in half. I think the twill tape actually, I like the way the twill tape looks, you know, I like the texture of it. Yeah, so isn't that interesting? So you could put your cargo pocket on whatever leg you want. Oh, I got this out because I was thinking I could actually just remove this little decorative thread running along the sides here. I just wanted to see. So, you know, when you're really desperate for something in your stash, don't discount modifying whatever it is, because, you know, look at this. You know, I think I would have a solid black, if I could grab this one little thread here, you know, a solid black grosgrain ribbon if I wanted, you know? Okay. Yeah, in fact, I am going to use this because I just don't foresee me using this for anything else. Okay. It'll leave little holes, but I actually don't really care about that because I'm going to be sewing through those. It's really hard to get all of it. There we go. Yeah. Comes right out. It's kind of cool that this stays, like when you cut your ribbon end, it doesn't pull out on its own. Is that enough? I don't think that's enough. Okay. It's for extra snacks. Okay, I really like that. I used to have people ask me all the time, like, oh, I love your little wristlet bag, but I've always wondered, what's this little pocket on the outside for? And I was like, do you really want to know? Because it isn't anything knitting related. You know, I used to put my peanut M&Ms in there. So when I would go to my knitting group, and all my friends, I do too, I eat pretty healthy, but my friends eat really healthy. They would never eat peanut M&Ms. I hope none of you are in here. You know this about me, but I'm not trying to diss you guys. But I would hide my peanut M&Ms in that little pocket. So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to, I think I'm going to interface this right here. And I'm going to interface one of these flaps. Snacks is always a very good motivation. We got a machine here, just kind of kicking around, don't we? I never adjust the camera by looking at the live stream. That's good enough for now. This is one good thing I love about the wool mat, is that I can just take this piece and iron onto the mat, and it's kind of totally fine. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to cut it to fit. It just peels right off the wool. Peanut M&Ms are good. Oh, I was looking at chat and I just got that really crooked, didn't I? It's okay though. All right, so let's cut this off. And then I'm only doing it on this piece here because it'll reinforce the tape we're about to sew to it. I don't think it's 100% necessary. I am going to put a snap. So I think you should interface these no matter what. And I'm going to interface this one too. And I'm going to do that because the snap goes through all layers. I wish I do have a rotary knife right here. So much faster. Interfacing sometimes, I really wish it would make certain fabrics not curl, but it really doesn't sometimes. Some fabrics are just heck bent on being curly, like this one. All right. Okay, so let's see here. We need to attach this ribbon. There's so much talk of Wonder Tape in this pattern, it's kind of confusing for me. Isn't that funny? I just want the, center the tape down the middle and stitch down. I think this one, you're supposed to stop halfway, but I'm not sure I'm going to do that. I'm just going to center this and sew it, and let's brighten it up and bring you guys down. Just a little, I'll just brighten it up a little bit. It's getting dark so early now, it's really affecting my videos, and I've had to re-record a whole video, cut out the whole project, all of it, and it was jeans, which I'm fine with getting another pair of jeans, but you know, it's like a time thing. But it's going dark and changing the lighting, and the denim is so already hard to see. So in this one, let me see here. Do we cut it a certain length? I just want to know the length of this. Back pocket binding. All the, okay. Other supplies. Where's the ribbon? It's not in there. I don't think. It's probably here somewhere. There's a lot of details. I'm thinking it should only be on this flap here, because this goes to the inside like this, and you stitch it down, and then there's a flap like this. So let's decide that it goes to here. All right. And I cut this 2 3/4 inches long. There's a little extra. I'm going to fold it under. I'm also going to find my center line. This fabric does not want to give me a crease at all. So let's find. I opened up my gray one, and I like this gray. Is it, Malin? I bet. Aren't you in a place where the you don't get as much sunlight during some of the year? Meaning, like, you can only get a few hours, right? I used to have a friend that lived, God, I can't remember. She lived in Norway. Oh, that barely got on there. All right, so there's my pocket flap, and I'm going to top stitch the pocket down. I think I'm going to overlock this edge. Maybe I'll cover stitch that. Oh no, I can't. It's a point. Okay, let's go back to our thread. Oh man. It's like, you know, a bottomless pit back there. I'd have so much more storage in my room here if I could use everything between my machine and my cutting table. That's where the camera sits. Oh, wow, Carrie. Maybe you could get him a light that turns on a timer. Those little timers are really affordable, and they just plug into your wall. You know, and you just like toggle the times, and then you plug your plug into it, and it would come on. Or you can get the kind that come on when it senses it's dark, you know. Did I really just do that? I did just do that. Okay, fine. All right, so let's overlock the top of my pocket. Move this ribbon. I was really surprised, like I switched out my Chaco liner, and so I'm using the top part here. Used to be a white one, then I switched it to a yellow cartridge, and then I just turned it to the gray, and I thought, well, I really don't want any of this gray to show, or I mean yellow to show through the gray, and really it got cleaned out almost immediately, and I used it on this blouse to make my snaps. You're in the south of Sweden. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that's pretty, yeah, that's narrow enough. Okay. You use those timers for Christmas trees. Yeah. Oh, really, Lynn? That's so sweet. They make them for dogs. Okay, so let's get the serger. I think we need to move these two machines. We're just going to swap them. You know what I can do? The benefits of having interchangeable cords. There we go. Okay. All right. Oops, I just turned it off. All right, so I'm gonna just overlock this edge here. Let me iron this down while I'm sitting here. Ooh, I almost melted my ribbon. Don't do that, don't do that. It's now shiny. Think she'll use this pocket? Okay. I'm gonna sew this right sides together, this little flap here. And we're gonna put our snaps on. I kind of should have done this first so I could have overlocked across this raw edge here. I'm just going to trim this down. Oh, interesting. Okay, I'm not a very paranoid person, but there's no way I'm ever getting one of those. It's funny, I'm very, very private. Like when it comes to home, like the idea of there being even just a inanimate assistant like that is a big nope for me. All right, I'm gonna top stitch this. Oh, I should have done a better job of pulling those corners out. Here we go. Let's check this one before I'm over there. I caught my reflection. Because of the light change, I'm now seeing my reflection in places I wasn't used to. Or because it's like getting darker, so then my reflection's showing on a window. And I'm always like, who is that? Oh, yeah, right, Carrie? Yeah, like, oh, yeah. Yes, it does, Libby. Do you want to tell Malin or Terry what it is? You can just tell them, and then they can post it. I'm not watching on the content creator site, otherwise I could have let you get it by. Sorry about that. I like seeing what you guys can see. If you're not sure when to pivot, pivot and check. This definitely has that kind of military vibe, being in the olive, you know, the drab olive green too. You know what? I don't know if this is supposed to show on the right side. Is it? Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. So this little ribbon, I'm pretty sure it's only there as a reinforcement for your snap. In this case, I think it might be overkill. I was thinking it was a decoration, you know, on your pocket, and it can be if you want. All right, so I'm going to stitch my pocket down blind because I like to see the stitching. I'm only going to do one row. It's looking pretty good though. All right. What do we think? White? Oh, let's do a pearl snap. I'm going to show you guys I got this to work, the pearl snap to work in my little thing here. I have a little sample. You see, Nancy, how I organized all my snaps in the coffins? I put all the caps in this one, and then all the parts to these caps go in here. I need you and you. I need one of each, please. And you. Eventually, I'll have 4 of these, and I'm going to divide out all my parts so that it's easier to find only what I'm looking for. Like Libby said, when you're doing 20. Oh, there's a little bump there. Okay, okay. Okay. What do you guys think? Should I do the... Let me get you guys' your opinion. Should I do the pocket with the ribbon showing? Or do you think it's too distracting? Oh, I think it kind of looks better without, huh? Oh, interesting. Art of Manliness, and the article is a man's pockets. Oh, I hope I remember to look at that. I would really like to check that out. The Art of Manliness. What do you guys think? Let's get the overall look. I like it both ways. Oh, and remember, it's a white snap. It's pearl. Other way with the pearl snap. I'm torn, kind of like this. Don't my buttonholes look really bright? We found it. Oh, cool. Thanks, Malin. You like it with... Hi, Donna. How's it going? Definitely a nerd out. Ooh. You like it without? Okay. My eyes have been overtired lately. I have so many things I have to catch up on. It's kind of a problem, but I'm definitely going to bookmark that. No ribbon? All right. Yeah, I think you guys are right. I think she would probably... I could see her liking it both ways. But in this case, I think the less different it looks sometimes, the better. And this is my bobbin, but it didn't do too bad. Like, my stitches are a little sunken in here on this side, a little more prominent here. You know, like the stitching looks a lot better on this side. But it's not too bad, you know. If it was a really big problem, I could have just cut another one and sewn it. All right, so I'm gonna place my snap about there. I don't know why, but they have the snap way up here in the picture, and I'm not sure why that is. This ribbon's gonna be too thick. Dang, this ribbon might be too thick. Hey, Mafio, how's it going? Oh, man. Okay, let's get it. Okay. This might be too thick. I may be making a new flap after all. Maybe the other snaps would work better. I feel like their tines are a little bit longer. Let's just look at them. Yeah, I feel like this actually, I may have to do this. I like the pearl better on this khaki. But the gripper on the other ones are better. Shoot. Well. Wham. Okay. The tool does work with this. It's not ideal. Like, don't get me wrong. If you are buying the hemline snaps, get the hemline tool. But it is working. They're just a little big. Okay, I need you, and you. All right. This is just a bunch of layers of stiffener. And I just set this in this little, it's like a little dish. I got this from Waywack, and I'm pretty happy. It was a total, you know, surprise. And then this one, and this one took a few tries, but it's the little ring in the center there. It has all the little seams, whereas this side is smooth. That goes up. So let's see if this is too thick. All right, I'm about to pound. Cover your ears. Well, it feels pretty good. Okay. Awesome, awesome. All right, so I want that to cover the stitch just barely. This is how I've been marking my snaps. When I get that top one on, I use my awl on this side, and it will only pretty much go in on the center of the snap like that. And then we want this one here. This one's tines are a lot longer. This side. I think the only way you could make snaps faster is if the machine, you had like a little machine and it loaded it all up. And you just went junk, junk. I don't even know if that exists for home use in a reasonable price range. All right, here we go. Hammering again. I think so too, Donna. I think the pearl would have looked nice. But those, I'm pretty sure it would have popped off, you know. The other thing I like about using this, I will say, is, is that when I've done the Dritz ones, the pearl, sometimes I crack the pearl. So I like having this. It doesn't crack the pearl for some reason. So, because on my Mellow Low, there's two that are, the pearl's cracked. So. Okay, let's put this pocket on. So they say to do 2.5 inches below this pocket here. At least she won't know that it could have looked better, right? And then we can use this point here to make sure it's straight. You can fold this in half like this. I think true cargo pockets, when you're drafting a pattern for production, I don't think they're centered. I think they're biased towards the front a little bit. Just FYI. If you're doing this for a different size or a particular reason, you might want to consider positioning that where it'll be the most useful for you. But visually, and I mean, how functional is this, you know? Visually, this is pleasing when it's in the center like that. Did I just not put it? I didn't. That's hilarious. Where did I line it up to then? All right. Yeah. Let's get rid of all these little threads. In today's thing, we're doing buttonholes, draw cord, snaps, rivets, and elastic. Just on these little old knit pants. If you want some fun details and you like to get into projects like that, I think that's awesome. Actually, I'm going to start right side up because I'm going to do 2 rows of stitching. And obviously, a lot of that's optional. Once I get this on there, we're going to get to finish sewing the pants together. Keep your point on the side seam there. These are very long. It might get wavy. I don't know if you can see mine's getting kind of wavy, but that will calm down later. Once they're laundered, ironed, worn, all that. Unless you're stretching it out, then. All right. Go up, and then we're going to go over. Ooh, I barely made it. 1, 2, 3. I know, right, Terry? What kind of rivets? Oh. All the closures. Right? We're just missing a zipper. I guess we could make another cargo pocket on the other side with a zipper. I don't use removable rivets, and I've heard of these. Do they screw on? Is that what it is? I feel like someone told me and I kind of forgot. Can't imagine what those are for. I'd have to understand. But let's see. I've gotten rivets at lots of different places, so I don't know where today's are from. But Waywack sells them. All those jeans making kit places we were talking about the other day. I don't think I didn't get that very straight at the top there. So like Closet Core, Blackbird, Maker's Fabric, probably Hearts and Stone Mountain and Daughter sew them. They just have the nooks like what the snaps have. Oh. Tips on skirt hooks and bars. Oh, like hooks and, oh yeah. Gosh, if I never have to sew those again, I'll be happy. I do not like, it's not that I don't mind sewing them, I mind using them. The only time I have one is in my culottes. Yeah, Waywack, exactly. They only have the double cap like in bag making. Who, Lynn? Oh, Waywack does? Really? I don't think so, Carrie. Let's find some. Lynn is saying that they're double. I'm not sure what that means. I thought they had like a box or something. I'm not going to serge this, I think, because I'm going to enclose it with my top stitching. See, look, they're sticking straight up, those little covers. Oh, that's my cover stitch. That's my top stitch. Okay, fine. Maybe it's a thread. Maybe it's a thread. Okay, so let's put this. You're supposed to put this pocket flap a 1/2 inch above the, oh, I should have placed this a little smarter, you guys. I'm going to be barely cutting this. Close. Close. Look at that. You're supposed to have a 1/2 inch between your flap and your, according to directions. That's not going to happen here. Maybe that's why the snap's so much higher. Oh no, don't do that, please. Thank you. I'm cutting it close here. I'm going to trim this way down. A pocket on your calf? What on earth is that for? I'm going to do it from this side. Okay. Cutting it close. Pun intended. It's not even a pun, it's just the truth. Boy. I might help you with the rivet question just a second. I'm kind of try-harding right now. I probably just sewed my pocket shut. No, I didn't. Okay, that looks pretty good. Whoa, that was close. All right, so the rivets I use. They all look pretty much the same. And like I said, I've gotten them in lots of different places. They have this smooth post. No ridges on it like a tack button has. And then the little rivet looks like this. I need to buy more actually because all I have is 3 in this color, I think. And 3 in this silver. 2 gold. Yeah, so I was kind of hoping I had 4 in this one, but I guess not. Maybe I won't be putting rivets on. I kind of want to do at least 2. This pattern calls for a lot of rivets, more than I put on jeans. So I think maybe I'll just stick to 2. Just as a, oh man, I really wish I had 4. I thought I had 4. 1, 2, 3. I saw the 4 posts and I thought I had 4. Well, darn. Maybe there's a little baggie in my bin. I just don't remember. Those ones. The top and bottom pieces look different than what you're doing. This is different than what they have on Waywack. I don't think I've ever bought them from Waywack. You just made me miss my lime green card. Aww. No, it's absolutely not. Sarah, it's not. You're not too old ever. I like Maker's fabric because you can buy what you want. You don't have to buy it in a kit. Kits are great, but they're limiting because you end up with 3 extra, and you know that's not enough to do anything with. So I really like getting a chunk. You know, these were all left over from all the rivets I have are left over from kits. Maybe Blackbird. Did I say that? Let's see. Do I have another bag in here? Maybe I don't. I guess I could do snaps. Oh, hey, here's the cheat sheet I made. I was thinking it would be helpful to do the rivets for someone who maybe hasn't done them before, but now I'm like, I don't have enough. You had parachute pants. Terry, you and I must be about the same age. You know what? I only ever saw guys wearing those. I don't know if they made them for girls. Guys loved wearing them though. I always thought they looked kind of goofy, but if there's something about someone who just loves a piece of clothing that I've always appreciated. Oh, really, Terry? See, my problem with buying somewhere I'm not sure of is that I have discovered 2 different qualities, and that worries me, you know? You're 51, I'm 50. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right, so I'm going to do this other seam here. I was going to get rid of this extra thread vomit here. I must have changed my bobbin right here. So let's just pull out some of these threads here because it looks not good. Yeah, I remember like the popular kid in school had them. All right. 30 yards of canvas. What are you going to sew 30 yards of canvas into? I have 15 yards of linen I still need to dye. Remember that harebrained idea I had? All right, seam allowances. I think they said to push it down, but I have mine pushing them both up. So we'll stick with that. I'm going to definitely push those seam allowances up because I want to enclose them in my finished waistband. Pretty sure. Maybe they said push up because they were coming at it from this direction. I mean push down. So I think I'm going to top stitch the side seam and then overlock the inseam. Oh, you're doing your cargo jacket over again? Good for you. If it's not out of your system, oh, you're doing tents and cargo pants and shorts. Oh, yeah. I find having canvas handy to be really helpful. I'm not sure, Carrie. This is out of order for me. I really wish I'd done the inseam. You know what? Okay, if you haven't gotten this far, this is what I recommend. Oh, can I recommend that? I find top stitching your inseam down to make it lower profile is really nice. But like I said, this is probably, if you're doing this out like a heavy fleece or ponte, maybe you don't need that. Maybe it's not a big deal. But I was just going to recommend doing it first and then this one because it's really hard to get in here, and usually you're only top stitching to the bottom of the pocket, but that is for a pair of pants that has loose pockets inside, and this doesn't. This has, you know, pockets top stitched on top. I'm not sure how I'm dyeing it. I'm kind of thinking, I really don't want to be an expert in dyeing. So my friend who is a professional yarn dyer, she said do it in the washing machine. And most people say just do it in the washing machine. And so I think that's what I'll do is the washing machine. But I kind of would like a progressive dyed piece of linen. So what I'm thinking is, and progressive meaning, I think a lot of people call it dip dye. So it's like, it's one color, but the color is very dark at one end and gets lighter as it goes. So then I would have to use a bucket. And then you submerge it for the longer at the bottom and then start pulling it out in waves. I'm not sure. Do not come to me for dyeing advice, people. So, All right, let's do the inseam. I don't know if you see Jenny Hassler. She's been doing a lot of ice dyeing, and you get kind of a tie-dye effect, and it looks pretty cool. I don't like tie-dye personally, but I think that would be a very easy and satisfying way to dye and get some really, like, get some bang for your buck, you know? Like, you get some pretty, she has had some really amazing, lucky, maybe it wasn't lucky, maybe ice dyeing does that. Like, she's gotten some really good stuff out of it. And she can do it with her grandkids, so it's very fun that way. And I don't know much about it, but like she had posted a picture recently, and it just looked like a bunch of ice. I'm gonna do bedding though, but it's gonna be 2 twin quilts for my bed, and I'm gonna do 2 layers of linen, and that's it. No batting, no nothing. So, and then I'm gonna quilt it. That's my what I want out of it. You know, the problem with top stitching down the side seam is it doesn't leave me very, what is going on here? Why is this at this angle? It doesn't leave me much room to adjust these for Cricut if they don't fit her. What happened just now? Why did this just get totally wonky? Never have this happen. What the heck? That was, I hope that looks okay. All right. But I think I'll leave the inseam untop stitched. With something stretchy, it would be easier to top stitch it if I have to. It's waterproof too, your canvas. That's some stout stuff. You found a new podcast recently, so go check your thread. Oh, I just heard of that. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so the whole thing about natural dyeing though is you have to use heavy metals in order to mordant it and set it. And while those mordants are natural, they're also extremely toxic, and they can't be just disposed of by going down your drain. I don't know a whole lot about it, I just know that. So I'd probably stick to something that's very beginner friendly, since it's 15 yards of linen. It's a lot. I don't want to ruin it, because that would be very unsustainable too. Well, those are stains, Carrie. So yeah, they work pretty good. They just don't have as big of an impact depending on what fabric you're using. But I've done that to take like the white sheen off things. Oh, cool, Malin. That's very cool. Non-toxic mordants. That's awesome. That's really good to know. But yeah, I mean, they are natural. They're just, you know, you have to be careful. Right. We've got pants. Let's check them out. My arm barely fits in here. Oof. Okay. Wait, I just saw, oh, it's this right here. Okay. I want to see how that rise looked, because that transition at the crotch didn't go very well. Oh my gosh, I actually nailed it. Wow, I'm shocked. When I was approaching it, it was fine. And then when I went to turn the corner, it was not fine. I think I just got really lucky. Yeah, grape juice. Yeah, there's a lot of things you can stain with that work. But you need so much. And grape juice, probably not. Finding like 100% grape juice, it might be more affordable. But it's kind of not cheap. All right, so we're going to do our waistband nail. Haven't forgotten anything, right? Yeah, look at that pearl snap on there. Doesn't that look nice? Hubba hubba. It looked so nice on there. Oh well, let it go, let it go. Okay, So we have a piece of elastic, we have a yoke, and we have a waistband left. That's all we have left. I'm going to sew these together on the side seams. I don't need to overlock them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straight stitch them and I have so many questions right now of how this is going to work. I'm going to overlock each of these edges independently. That's what I'm going to do. Because I think that this is going to have to hang down. I stretched it a little bit right there so I could maybe still see my little notch. Yeah, there's my little notch. Okay. I'm just doing the long bottom edge. And yeah, I'm gonna just do the side seams, I guess. I have questions. That will at least finish this hanging down here. I'm going to start from the top and go down again too, so I make sure they match. So I think I might press the seam allowance toward, so let's see, my seam allowance here is pressed towards the back and top stitched. And I did read these instructions a few times, but I'm kind of curious, like, you know, you're just going to top stitch it and leave that edge hanging down. I'm not a big fan of that, you know. Because you know what, I would have done it from the inside to the outside, but I almost did that, but I just decided that I might get into a pickle, so I didn't do it. All right, so I think I'm going to push these seam allowances towards the front and top stitch them down, offsetting them from the outer, just to reduce the bulk there. Hopefully this is okay. And then same with this one. The back yoke is the longer one. I'm not sure how different the maternity panel is, but it might be a little different. I'm going to pull this little thread tail up and top stitch it in a seam allowance too, just to kind of secure it right now and get rid of it. My husband's bringing me lunch today. So I have a deadline. All right, so let's pull this one up here. Oh, so I've been thinking about our gift week of sewing. If you're new here, we usually take 1 week. I take 1 week in December and I sew some gifty type of things. So I feel like it is a little late to be doing your gift sewing, but I know I do it really late. So, Eliza sent me an email. So I don't know if any of you get the Helen's Closet email newsletter or see their Instagram, but they released a apron pattern for free called Sam's pattern after her husband, and her husband's modeling it. So I think it's like a tulle apron. And Eliza was like, hey, this might be a really good apron for the gift stream. And we have historically done an apron the last 2 or 3 we've done. We've done 3 now, right? Yeah, exactly, Carrie. So we're thinking about doing, I think that's a good suggestion. So we'll do Sam's apron as one. And then I'm thinking I'm going to do a collaboration with another YouTuber about this because she's really good at something in particular. So yeah, I'll let you know more when I know more. Whoa. But I'm going to use only free patterns. Usually Hearts Fabric sends me a project for the gift week, which is pretty fun. So that we might be doing that too. So yeah, Carrie, you knew what I was going to say. All right, so I just did my elastic in a circle. So they say to do this 2 to 6 inches smaller than your waist measurement for your elastic. I wanted to see how much is this going to stretch. I just heard someone come in the building, which is kind of weird. Okay, that's stretchy. So we're going to put this resas together. So this I might do a little differently than what they have in the instructions, because they have you do the elastic to the waistband, but they have you serge it into the seam. And my problem with this is that means it's in the seam allowance, and when you fold your waistband, it would stick up like that, right? Oh, cool, Malin. Yeah, it does look really good. That's awesome. What fabrics do you think you would pick, Malin? All right. So I'm going to serge this waistband, matching the side seams and the center fronts. I have it right sides together. All right. And then I'm going to show you what I mean about the elastic. I'm going to use my serger though, because I want it to be as stretchy as possible. I'm going to start just behind the seam there. And my seam allowances are offset, so some are pushed to the back, some are pushed to the front. Make sure you have your yoke over your yoke and your waistband over your waistband. The front is the waistband, the back is the yoke. You'd be kind of bummed if you serged it on and you did it backwards. Nobody likes taking out serging. Trimming where I shouldn't be trimming. Whoops. When you come back to the, in the round, when you come back to where your serger is, try and run along your serger without nicking the stitches you've already sewn with your blade. Do your best. Oh no, your upper tension wheel gave it, oh no. Cool, Terry, you're down for that too? Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Maybe I'll download it while I'm here. It's a good, okay, so now I have 2 things. I have the manliness site to go to look at pockets and the apron. Okay, I'm gonna download it while I'm here. Okay, I can't do it when I'm at home. Okay, so here's my thinking. I really like serging elastic to the waistband, but this isn't the spot to do it, because what I think is if I were to attach this elastic to this, right? So we'll pretend like we did. We'll just sew it on here with some pins, right? This is what happens. So when you turn your waistband to the inside, the seam allowance, if you want to push it to the inside of the waist like this, push it down, what happens is your elastic makes it stick up like this. So I'm not sure if that is the intended, maybe that's the intention of it, but you'd have to make sure that you didn't lose too much of your ins, or I guess it would be longer. It'd be even longer. So I'm actually not going to do that. I think that I don't want my yoke and waistband on the inside hanging down much further than the seam. I'm already kind of bummed they're hanging down at all. I would much rather be clean finished, which is kind of weird in a knit waistband, but or at least maybe barely make it. Like I should have maybe trimmed the seam allowance off. That's what I should have done. I should have trimmed the seam allowance off both these edges. Good to know. Some twill, maybe canvas, not denim. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking canvas would be helpful. Maybe I'd make it for my husband, since he's been doing a lot of woodworking. All right, so I'm gonna stitch this in the seam allowance. So the difference I'm doing is I'm lining up this elastic. Well, that's freaking dark. I know, I knew you guys didn't watch. I knew it. No. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and now I'm going to go back and do this. Is that better? Not too bright? That's not bad. That's good. Okay, so see how I have this line of serging here? Instead of lining up my elastic to the raw edge, I'm going to line up this edge to the seam line here so that all of the elastic is in the seam allowance. So I'm going to find my 4 spots. So let's see, where is the center? All right, well, let's find the centers first. Find your centers. And then find this other corners, your other 4 corners, right? So line up your centers when you do this. Don't ever count on the fact that the side seam is halfway between your centers. This one almost is. It's actually like right there. But usually your front is smaller. So it doesn't. This one, it could just be because it's graded so it's small. All right. And now do the same on your elastic. Make sure your elastic is very well sewn into a flat circle. Just overlap it. You don't want it to pop open, right? All right, so let's mark our center. And on this one, yeah, you just line up your centers now, one on top of the other, to find your other quarter. Okay. Oh, nice. Nice, Libby. You just finished. It's super cozy, however it fits me, and he's taking a nap. Aw. He doesn't know about it, though, right? Okay. I'm going to line this up, so I'm going to keep it in the seam allowance. You know what I mean, jelly beans? Now, you can use a zigzag stitch if you want. So now we know where this line needs to go to this one here, so we're going to stretch it to that spot. We're going to stretch it to that spot, and then we're going to hold it while we sew. Do not pull in the middle of your sewing. Keep it pulled while you sew, and you shouldn't have any problems. It wants to kind of push it off, but we got it. And you're just going to do this all the way around. Oh, I didn't do my trick. Okay, remember how I always tell you, you have to flop over your elastic? See, this is what happens. It gets stuck. You have to flop it over. Which, that doesn't make any sense to you right now because you didn't get to see the trick, but Anytime you're doing a circle, you have to do this one little thing so you don't get stuck in the middle. I'm gently stretching everything since I'm using a single needle machine. That way the stitches are already stretched a little bit. Did I lose my... Oh, there it is. It's very faint. It's like in the nooks of the elastic. So lately, like, so tomorrow my daughter's coming, right? And so we get a whole week where we don't have to sleep in the cottage. Hey, Sherry. Yeah, right? That's so funny, Sherry. And Ollie, though, her cat, the whole reason we have to sleep out in the cottage, all of a sudden he has started sleeping in the shop and looking for critters out there. And my husband has to coax him into the cottage. I'm like, gosh darn it, Ollie, you have to be here when she gets here. Stop doing this disappearing act. She will not forgive us. Okay. So now we're going to turn this to the inside. And see, now our seam will be on the edge there like that. What's that? We don't like that. So you can really kind of decide if you're going to top stitch your edges or whatever. I mean, you know, you could understitch it to the inside. It depends, you know, like this is feeling pretty stretchy. I'm not popping any stitches. I probably could understitch it and it would be fine. And it would keep that waistband to the inside. I think you're just going to have to decide. Some machines really hate sewing through elastic. Do any of you have one of those where it just hates going through the rubber of the elastic? I've had plenty of machines like that and some elastics that do that, and it's really frustrating. I kind of want to understitch it because I just don't like this kind of rounded edge here. Well, and then our last stitch will be to, we have to stitch it down here. Okay, I'm just going to tell you how I would have done this differently. I would have definitely made this the same size, and I would have serged it all on as one. I would actually have assembled the entire waistband as one unit and then serged it to the pants. Decide if you're going to top stitch or cover stitch, because you could cover stitch it. With this jog, you really can't because you don't have a back stitch with your cover stitch, so you would go up to this point and then just, you'd have raw threads there unless you do some tricksy stuff. You can do that. I don't want this to get stretched out too much up here by stitching it, so that's why I'm a little nervous to understitch. What if I just didn't understitch it and then I did my top stitch at the bottom? You tighten up your, for your, like when you're having elastic issues, Lynn, that's interesting. That works for you? Oh, that's very interesting. I had a machine that hated it and there was nothing I could do. What would you do in a factory? How would this be sewn? Trying to decide. Yeah, and you wouldn't have to do this, like now we have to top stitch through here, which means that we could stretch this out or the stitches could pop because we have to stitch this down. Whereas if it had just been overlocked altogether, you could just leave it like a seam like that. That's what I would do differently next time. I'm gonna make a note to myself because I think I want to make these again for me. I'm gonna understitch. I just want to do it as an experiment. Let's find out. Yeah, a really sharp needle. Yeah. Do you find a ballpoint helps or no? I'm not a big fan of this elastic, I have to admit. I really like braided elastic, but I don't have any 1/2 inch. And this is probably pretty appropriate for a waistband. All right, so I'm just pushing everything towards the waistband. And I'm also going to stretch it a tiny bit as I go, but not much because I don't want it to be stretched out. Remember, even if it does look a little wavy or stretched out when it's sitting there, you made the elastic smaller than the waist, and when it's on the person, it'll look smooth, okay? So console yourself with that. I'm really glad I offset those thicknesses now because with the elastic in there, the seam allowance, and this fabric is pretty beefy. My machine would have been like, I don't know about that. How about I skip a stitch? Because I don't think I've changed my needle on this project. All right. All right, so let's put it to the test here. All right, we're still good. All right, so now I'm just gonna top stitch the waist down here and put a casing in for the draw cord. So we're going to do this. Oof, I have to admit, I'm kind of dreading this right here. I don't like this kind of, this is why I do it the way I do it. I don't like this kind of sewing. I don't like mystery sewing. You think I'm good, but I'm not. I just keep myself out of situations I don't like being in. I'm a cheater. All right. So if you don't trim the seam allowance, at least you have a nice big, space to catch. You don't have to worry. Ooh. Malin. Okay, I would default to Helen's Closet or Cashmerette or Jolie patterns. Those would be my choices. I know that Closet Core just came out with a free pattern, but I have to say I didn't like the way it looked on the models. I can't believe I just said that out loud, but I didn't. And there's so many t-shirt patterns out in the world that, it's free, right? So it didn't look bad. I just didn't think, it didn't look like it fit bad. I just thought it looked kind of, it was a weird proportion. Yeah, so I would check those. Cashmere is designed for big boobs, so. All right, so I'm gonna top stitch this down from the right side. I just put pins like kind of close to the edge. Actually, let's get this one. So yeah, let's position these. I'm just pinning it so that it stays down and it's nice and flat from the waist to here. And then when I go to sew, these pins are, I don't have to remove them or anything, right? Let's get them better positioned for that. I'm gonna start at a side seam too. They're quite loose fitting. Okay. Oh, nice, Sarah. That's awesome. Yeah. Thread and needle, man, makes such a big difference, doesn't it? I see so many people post a question sometimes, and did you change your needle? Did you rethread your machine? It's like 50% of the issues. Thank goodness, right? It's like kind of makes us so mad sometimes that that's what it is, but honestly, we should be really thankful that that's what it is, right? All right, so now I'm at the waistband. I'm just gonna jog over to the yoke here. Are you guys laying flat in there, please? You are, okay. Doesn't feel like it. You guys better be flat down there. You're kind of curling. Okay, fine. So this was the back yoke, was the, something's up here, was the one I cover stitched first, remember? And I took out the cover stitching. Oh, cool, Barbara. Love Notions. That's a good, and Itch to Stitch. Yeah, that's actually a good bet. This better be. This feels too easy. It's because you have such a huge seam allowance there too. It looks nice. But see, you've got this flappy flap. Not a fan of the flappy flap. Oh, look at here. What happened? We need to fix. We don't like that kind of flappy flap at all. Let's take that out. Where'd we go wrong here? See how it's wavy? That's fine. You need it to stretch to go on the waist. Let's take it out right here. This is where I felt something was wrong. Yeah, that's where I was at. Okay. Exclamation point drink, for those of you wondering. How I would have done it? Oh, I would have made the waistband and the yoke the same width. So I think that the reason it's like this is because of a maternity option, which is fine, but you know, I definitely don't need that. And I don't think it's 100% has to be that way. So I would blend the two pattern pieces here, like this yoke. You see how it comes down at a point right here? You could blend this together, the seam, right? And so then you would have a waistband rather than a yoke going all the way around front and back. And then I'm trying to think of all the things we've done to it. So I would sew the side seams of your front and back outer waistband, and I would sew the side seams of your front and back inner waistband. So now you have an inner waistband and an outer waistband. I'd put your draw cord holes on your outer waistband front. You can't forget that. I would serge the two together at the waist, the top here. Attach your elastic. And then if you wanted to understitch like I did here, you could. You don't have to. And then I would hold those two seams together and I would sew it on the waistband as one. And then you wouldn't have to do this little thing here. That's how I would do it. Kind of, let me think of a pattern. There's a billion patterns like that. But one that you've heard of. Let me think about it. Trying to think. But I think you know what I mean, right? I would just make the waistband the same front and back. I kind of thought I would discover a reason why they needed to be different. And I'm sure it probably has to do with the maternity panel option, which is really nice, you know, because there's just not enough maternity clothes probably patterns out there that look like real clothes, you know. And technically, you could probably take them apart and turn them into regular pants after you're pregnant, you know. Let's put a few more pins in this little section here. But honestly, I don't really see the reasoning behind it. Not with, it's just too much sewing too. That's why I would do it too. Make it easier to sew. This feels a lot better this time. Except for the fact that I have a back stitch right there. My pet peeve. All right. Should we check them out? Probably should have cut those wonky buttonholes before I enclosed it. Oh, Patterns for Pirates. That's a good one. I haven't sewn theirs. Little ruffly. They're feeling good. All right, so I'm gonna stitch down. They look cute though. They do look pretty cute. So when they're on the person, they're gonna be smooth like that. Is that on the, what is this right here? Is that really the little wrinkles? Wow, they really show up on the camera. All right, so last two things I'm going to do. I'm going to create the casing. I'm going to do it from the inside. I'm going to turn them inside out so it's like I'm sewing on the inside. I'm not going to hem these today because I'm going to check them on her first. Yeah, Sherry. Right there with you, sister. Okay, so I'm going to stitch a line enclosing this elastic, and really what it's doing is you're giving the top of the tunnel for the draw cord, because you don't want your draw cord kind of swimming in there in a free-for-all, you know? So I'm going to start at the side seam. And like I said, if you don't have a free arm, which means if your machine's sitting on top of the table, and you can put your pants around the bed of your machine and sew. Like I don't have that, but if your machine sits flat like this in a table, then turn them inside out and do it from the inside. It'll be a little easier. Not there. So I actually think their direction of drawing a line is a fantastic idea. Is Sarami going to do that? No, but I will be smart in one respect. I'm going to give myself a guide here on this side. I do have lines on my throat plate. You can't see, it's a little overexposed. So my problem right now is I'm thinking, let's look at this. Let's look at our casing here, right? So we need this to be enclose the draw cord. So what I'm worried about right now is that the elastic is going to, whoops, I started sewing, is going to push my presser foot off the edge, because this is a ridge right here, right? So because I don't have a compensating foot. So if you have a compensating foot, you could make the left side of your presser foot a little bit higher, or have something under it, and then it would be the same as your right side. You could also do your zipper foot. My problem with my zipper foot is it's very slippery. I don't have as much traction because it's, you know, the zipper foot's not even sitting on the feed dogs for me. So yeah, exactly, Libby. I think that's what I was thinking too. All right, so if I want this to be right at the top of the buttonhole, that would be lining up my pants, this edge over here, right here. So now I just need to keep my pants lined up with that, and hopefully we'll have a nice parallel line. Yeah, right, Barbara? I mean, I could. Maybe I just will. It feels too much like it's going to be a problem. This is another problem, but I kind of would rather have this problem than that one. That's all sewing is. Trading problems. Am I right? Oh, googly doogly. All right, let's do this. I'm making it nice and flat. The waviness makes my waistband look very crooked. What time is it? 1 o'clock. Oh, my husband might be bringing me lunch. I hope he's not waiting out there. He's probably smart enough to know to check. This is another thing about this is that all these stitches in your waistband are potential areas where the stitching can pop. It might even say to use a chain stitch, which I could do. I should have done. I can do that now. You know? It's feeling okay still. Kind of surprised. All right, so let's move our tape. And if I put that there, that puts it here. Faster than drawing a line. Maybe not as straight though, I'll be honest. But you know, not bad for my one time I made this. This is something I stressed in the video. That my really long video I was telling you guys about. Okay, stay lined up, please. You know what? I wanted to tell you guys something very nice that happened. Grainline Studio said they would send me the new tamarack pattern. She was like, you know, I've always loved your tamarack. Thank you so much, you know, for posting it or something. She was just very nice. She goes, if you want the new pattern, I'll send it to you. Because I have it, but I don't have the updated one. And I've wanted to make another one for so long, but I'm like, how many jackets do I need? But with the new release, I've thought about it. But I'm like, I really don't need to have the pattern. So that was really nice. So maybe I will be making another one. All right. This is, are they crooked or is it my stitching? So you should have cut your buttonholes before you sewed all this. Just FYI. Just gonna say that. Yeah, it's got the hood, I think, on it. Yeah. I'm excited. Mine has a collar that I did. I'm thinking I would try one with a hood and a collar. Oh, it didn't have the weight? Yeah, sometimes zipper foots they're tricksy. They're not like people just say just switch to them, and I'm like, yeah, but you don't have as much, they're not touching the feed dogs in some cases, you know, so. All right, I now have safety pins. You know how every time I need one and I'm like, I don't have a safety pin. What sewist doesn't have a safety pin? Me. Oh, what did Ray say? Oh, would pressure foot pressure? I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Hand stitching in. You just found a patch in your pant, hole around the back pocket. Yeah, I think that's what it is for mine, is that it's so narrow that it just cannot, there's no purchase. I can see that my zipper foot is actually sitting in between the feed dogs. So I can't use my cool loop turner for this because you can only do straight things. I have to use, you don't have to, yeah, right, Barbara? I think the only ones I have are those little tiny gold ones at home that come on tags. I love this fabric for this pair of pants. You know? Okay. All right, so I won't be here Wednesday and Thursday next week. I'll be here next Saturday. I'm pretty sure I'll be here next Saturday. I actually don't even know what I'm streaming. I don't even know if I put something on the calendar. So it'll be a surprise to all of us. Maybe I'll have a video for you next week. I don't know. It's not quite done. It's all done. It's not edited. So it is by far from being done then, right? Let's get rid of some of these. That's hand tied. Leave that one. Get rid of you. Hopefully you'll see a picture of my little Criquita Brigitte wearing these. Patootie Jr. These are really cute though. Maybe the black on the twill here could have been tied in with the draw cord and that would have been fine. Very cute. I think these are really cute. I think I would like these. I have to say there's a lot of effort in them, but it does make them less loungy. And if you like stretch wovens, I think that, and you can do it with a stretch woven, you can see I have a little bit of torquing right here. But when it's on her, very cute. There's the back. Do they look like a mom made them? All right, and here's our little pocket down here. They kind of have a full hem. This is the other thing I was doing last night was, okay, so Cricket left all these robes and blankies on her porch for Ollie when she was wooing him. And then she kind of was just like, oh, well, they're kind of ruined. I was like, what the heck? This is like 2 robes, 2 blankets, a tapestry, towels, all kinds. She had like, it looked like literally like a homeless camp on the porch for Ollie. And we washed it all and took it apart, but one thing she was always like, this particular robe is his blankie. It's like he has to have it. So I cut up the robe and made a little blanket for him to sleep on. It ended up being like, it seemed big, but it ended up being this big and it looks so tiny when he's under it. And I was like, oh shoot, she's gonna give me a little bit of flack for that. So yesterday I was finding the rest of the robe and making it into a bigger blankie for him. Not that he cares. He doesn't want to sleep on it anymore, but anyway. All right. Sorry, it's a little overexposed. Thanks for coming, you guys. I appreciate it. Let me know if you're making these and how it goes. And I think I'm going to make me some. I think you could, when Cricket tries, we'll see. I actually think you might be able to make this out of a really good stretch denim. And we love pull-on jeans around here, right? And I think that this would be pretty cute. I don't know. Is that like, am I losing my sense of what's not nerdy to wear? Thanks, Ray. My court kitty respite. Exactly. I love the kitties. It's the cattage that I don't want to sleep in all the time. So, all right. I'll see you next Saturday. Have a good one. Have a good week, you guys. I'll be thinking of you. And thanks for coming. And there should be timestamps in the description soon, too. So thank you to Beverly for that. All right. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.